Good morning, pregame crew. How are you doing? Let's just say I'm punctual today. How about that? 8:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Mountain Time. Little technical difficulties. I'm blaming the NyQuil. It's January 28th, 2022. I'm Charkow Lori. You're at the pregame show, and I'm going to go a little longer today to make up for my not even delayed start, but I usually like to jump on here early. Fred, you're cute. Yep, Raj, got it. Thank you. All right, are we working now? Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate it. I said a lot of things before I went live, so I guess I got to remember them all. I had a blonde moment this morning. Good morning, Night Truck, Greg, Amira, Asia, Script Shaman, VH, John, Topher, Keith, Lisa, Keggers, Joe, Davy Baby, Veronica, Diego, Wave, Jason, Steve, and Luciana, CB, Bobo, Mr. Shinnok, Fred, Amaka, Don, Blue Dog Scott, Trainman Dan, Raw, Mr. Fat N, Jorge, Brandon, Amira, Asia, Nate, Glazai, Jorge, y'all funny. Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate it. Let's kill it today. Let's do it. Okay, so I've got to go back and retrace what I was saying earlier. I think it was to Steven. Steven, you said that you don't feel comfortable playing as a bear. I had the same problem my first 2 years of trading. So let me go over what I did to help baby step me into shorting. So I would only look at the market long. And of course, the market goes both directions. You're going to get hurt like that. You have to be able to read the chart back and forth. So one thing I did is Thinkorswim. If you don't have TD Ameritrade and you're a US citizen, you can create a Thinkorswim account, a TD Ameritrade account, and not fund it and still use Thinkorswim on demand, and then pull up SPY or XBI and trade it back and forth. It'll get you comfortable. And then I think it was Denzi that mentioned the other day, which is a great tip, to use ETFs that are inverse, like SH, which is kind of funny, SH. But it's short the market, and you can play the ETF long. It forces you to look at the market short or bull, but if you see it short, then you have to go play that inverse ETF long. And it's a good way to trick the brain. But again, just paper trade, and you have to be able to trade back and forth, or you won't be, I shouldn't say you won't be able to make it as a trader, but you'll have to recognize when it's not a bullish setup and just back away. Hi. Good morning. Everyone is fired. Everyone. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, please, notify button. Sorry for the scratchy voice, the nasally. I sound terrible. I don't feel as terrible as I sound, so there's that. This is who I am, Chart Gal Lori. I'm part of the Chart Guys community, and we teach technical analysis. And you have found yourself at the pregame show. And what I do every morning, besides cut up or cut out, is I go over indices, crypto, commodities, movers and shakers of the day. So if you're waking up to red this morning, let's talk about why did you swing long with Apple after hours? Did you swing a large position? We need to look into those things as to what you're doing and why you're doing it, and learn when to scale back risk. FOMC week, Apple earnings week, Microsoft earnings week, Tesla earnings week, GDP, jobless claims, all of those things are a risk-off environment. So in those environments, we have to know when to scale back. So with the format of this show, I cannot look at the room. We have awesome mods that will handle whatever questions you may have. And I just rip through charts. So today, again, I'm going to go a little longer because I cheated you from the pre-game. So let's get started. Yeah, inverted charts do help. So with ES on the 4 hour, we have been watching this EQ. So EQ means equilibrium. Here, higher high, lower low, lower high, higher low, lower high, and now we got a lower low. Do you think Mr. Market knows that we've been obsessed with a 4 hour? No. Is there another time frame that could help us figure this stuff out? Let's go look. Look at the 12 hour. On the 12 hour, we have not broken bear. We hit 4266 and 4263 was our support. So technically we are still in an EQ, just on a higher time frame. We can't lose sight of context. However, I'm not selling buckets of hope this morning because Apple earnings, so positive, should have pulled us up. And should is a funky word in trading because there's no shoulds. You should know that the market is like a 2-year-old that throws a tantrum. You want to talk about a taper tantrum? The market throws a tantrum when it doesn't get what it wants, and it's very erratic and it responds irrationally sometimes. Why? Because humans are irrational, especially when it comes to money. Excuse me, I'm going to mute to cough. All right. So the market is irrational and it's just a whole collection of all these human beings, and we're constantly seeing the outer edges of fear and greed in the market. So we're still in a 12-hour EQ and ES, but I don't have a lot of confidence in this. If Apple can't pull us up with an approximate $3 trillion market cap, then who can help us? Nasdaq, we broke this bearishly by $13. That does not make a bear break make in my math, in my subjective analysis. Let me do this. So it was 0.1% bear break. That's not a bear break, that's a double bottom. So now on NQ, we have a 12-hour EQ. Now, again, am I dishing out hope? No. The 8 EMA, look how the 8 EMA has been suppressing price. 8 is a very quick EMA. That's the average of the last 8 price points at close and weighted more heavily to the more recent price action. If we can't get over 8 EMA, super, super bearish. But what I would like to see as a market bull, and why am I bullish overall? Well, first of all, I have a bleeding heart. And I know that 90% of Americans, I don't know that, whatever the math is, of at least Americans are invested and required to invest in the market as part of their IRA or their 401k. Well, definitely their 401k, they're required to invest. So I don't want the market going down overall. It hurts more people than it helps more people. If I'm a bear and I'm benefiting in the short term, great, but it still doesn't help the overall society that doesn't know a lot about the market, and they blindly trust and put their money into the market, and they have to withstand these pullbacks. So just know that I am not a perma bull from a technical perspective, just a fundamental perspective. I want the market to go up. So we are still in daily oversold on Nasdaq. So what I would like to see is a little bit of a falling EQ, a falling wedge, meaning this lower low, which we did get by $13 without a lot of follow through, and then respond upwards. We need Microsoft, we need Google, we need every horse we got pulling this wagon out of this ditch. We're in a ditch here, we're stuck in the mud. Apple can't pull us out of this ditch alone. We're gonna have to have XLF pulling us out the ditch, XLV pulling us out the ditch. So let me go to my notes before I lose perspective. And again, I appreciate all of y'all trying to help me with the technical stuff and let me know that I was talking to thin air this morning. So here's my notes today. Overseas market was red overnight. It wasn't super red. I think Japan was 1%, and then I saw another European market 1%. So 1%, 2%, that's not like red alarms, everybody's scared. But it is surprising considering they know how the US markets closed and with Apple's beat, and they still were red. So not totally warming my heart. And I should mention, we have an open house coming soon. We haven't picked out the date yet. I'm just giving you a heads up that we'll have the pregame show, and then we're going to have a separate link for Charting Man Dan. He goes live for the Chart Guys members 5 mornings a week. We have the opening show for an hour and 15 minutes. Charting Man Dan does it 3 of those mornings, and we're going to open up one of those to the public just so you can see what we do, because I find it surprising. Some of y'all, when we mention, oh, Dan went over this live, you're like, what? He does what? So we'll open that up in the next week or so. Just be on the lookout for that date. I will be keeping you updated here. Okay, so 4-hour EQs broke bear. All right, Nasdaq kind of questionable because it was just by a few bucks. If NQ breaks without a ton of follow through, we're watching for a falling wedge. 12-hour EQ has not broken bear yet. Something to note. Nasdaq, I would say, is a double bottom. It hasn't broken bear. I didn't put it here because technically it did by $13 or $14. VIX, we're in a 4-hour EQ. Let's go look at that. So we just double topped here, $32.82, $33. Market bulls need VIX to come down. And I got a question yesterday. Of course I get lots of questions, but I had a pregame and a TCG member and a pregame viewer message me in TCG saying, Lori, you keep talking about VIX and I messaged Dan and he doesn't use it. You have to understand that this is an individual sport. So TCG, we have principles that we teach that we all follow, but the tools in our tool belt are different. Maybe I don't know how to use a hammer and maybe I want to use a screwdriver. Maybe Dan knows how to use a level and I don't know how to use whatever. So a monkey wrench. So we have to remember that each person approaches the chart differently with a different toolkit. I really enjoy using market internals, including volatility, to let me capture sentiment. And it makes me kind of double check myself on what I'm seeing in price action. What's the market? Have we reached ultimate fear? So just because Dan doesn't use VIX doesn't mean he is the most successful trader I know. So it doesn't mean it's a useless tool. We just all have our different approach. So just recognize, if I'm talking about US 10-year and VIX and Joey or Lamont doesn't care about it, it doesn't mean, I'm just throwing their names out, it doesn't mean it's not useful. They use volume profile, which is amazing, but I found it's just too much noise for my brain, so I don't use volume profile. So just always recognizing, use the tools that speak to you and help you have a successful system. So with the VIX, we need this to reject and get a lower low for the market bounce to get going. And then the US 10-year. This is actually a primo setup for tech to get that bounce. We need a lower high on the US 10-year, which is the 10-year yield. As the 10-year yield rises, Jerome Powell et al., they must continue to raise rates even more rapidly in order to stave off inflation. So we want the US 10-year to roll over so we can have less fear of more rate hikes, and that in turn helps our friend Nasdaq. Do y'all see how beneficial it is to notice when we have lower lows with very little follow through? It is such a magic trick that we teach in TCG. Dan goes over it often. It's pretty cool. That's funny. Powell's the only one using a monkey wrench. So the dollar is falling. We need the dollar to fall down. And excuse my lack of vocabulary. I went to a SEC school. I have an MBA, but again, it was just from a SEC school. It does not make me an economist, or a mathematician. But if everything's expressed in dollars, if the dollar continues to strengthen, then earnings will have to be more in order to beat, because the dollar is the denominator, which kind of makes this oil move impressive, because obviously oil is expressed in dollars. So the stronger the dollar is, the more it dilutes the oil value, and oils continue to go up. So it kind of makes that oil move impressive. So we need this dollar to pull back. I don't know if we just had, let me go back and look at ES. Did we just have some type of, I should know this. Let me go look at the whiteboard. I can figure it out quickly. We had personal income and outlays and employment cost index, but seems to me the dollar is dropping, and that's overall good for the market. All right, let me give you levels. 1440925. Actually, I'm gonna need to give you another one because we just pivoted here. 1418350. That gets us to a 4-hour higher high, and then it's still, the onus is on the bulls to get that higher low and change the trend. RTY is super weak. We need RTY to bounce in order for the market to bounce. That's a risk on environment. And look at these RSIs, y'all. I know I want to buy the dip. I bought the dip this morning, but we have to be cautious buying the dip if the only criteria is an oversold bounce, because our shorter term time frames have cooled off. YM, look how we're struggling with the 4-hour 50 RSI. How many times a week do I talk about the 4-hour 50 RSI? All the time. It's super important that we get over that. That just shows bear control. RSI means relative strength index. Over 50 means strong. Below 50 means weak. It just real simple. We talked about the VIX. Let's talk about Bitcoin. And I forget to ask, it's like my second grade, the favorites contest. I don't know if you had that. Like I had like 18 people in my class in second grade. And it's like you had to vote for your boy favorite and your girl favorite. and I tied with another girl, and my teacher's like, "Did you vote for yourself?" I'm like, "No, it takes a sorry dog not to wag its own tail." So it takes a sorry dog not to wag its own tail. So I'm asking you to please vote for me with a like button. Just hit the like button, and you essentially voted for me for a favorite in second grade in Miss Johnson's class in Plainview High School. All right, so resistance, I need to move this. Things have changed since 3 o'clock this morning. Resistance 37518, 38960, support 35526. And remember, Bitcoin is super important to the market. It's not super. You can trade without looking at it. But if you are trying to do some advanced trading and figure out clues, looking at Bitcoin can sometimes give you a poker tell as to what's going to happen with the market. And I had not planned to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm a rebel like that. Let's look at this. Okay, so SPY yesterday on the 15-minute had an EQ. And Apple yesterday had an EQ. And this is what I mean by looking at Bitcoin, even though this is not a Bitcoin example. We can look, I was watching these two EQs. Jason was about to go live. I posted in the room. We have several people posting about this SPY equilibrium. It was pretty obvious. Let's look at the equilibrium. Again, I'm taking my time this morning, despite the yucky voice. So we had this EQ here. We had this EQ here. And Jason went live about here. And I posted right before he went live, and he talked about it, I believe, too. I said, watch Apple, watch SPY. Whichever one breaks bull or bear first will give a poker tell or a canary. You could go play the other one bearishly or bullishly. And someone asked me, well, should I be positioning myself bullishly because the preceding trend was up? And I said no, because on the 4 hour, we were looking for a lower high on the 4 hour. Well, sorry, this is the wrong chart to look at Apple because they had earnings yesterday. But basically on the 4 hour, we were looking for a lower high. So I said, no, I am positioning myself bearishly. And then 5 minutes before SPY broke bear, Apple broke bear. Then it just said, go over here and position yourself bearishly with a stop above the last lower high for this chart to break bearishly. So watching Apple broke bear, didn't trade it. I said, I'm going to go position myself better in SPY because it could be a laggard to Apple. It doesn't mean it always works. But that was one of my highest conviction trades this week. It was super clear to me. Dan had been preaching 4 hour lower high. We're scouting a 4 hour lower high. Okay. Then is the market proving anything in sentiment? No, market internals were super weak. Okay, well, let's just watch. Which one blinks first? It's like a game of chicken. Which one blinks first? And it was literally my best trade of the whole week. And so that's what I mean when I say, look at Bitcoin. Sometimes if you're trading SPY or you're trading futures, if you look at Bitcoin, 1 second, coffee break. Bitcoin can sometimes give you a heads up as to what the market is going to do. And look, it's bouncing up. Which one bounced first? Let me go look. Right here, 6:30. About the same time. I probably could get to the 1 minute and see if one gave a tell over the other. But TCG members are very used to this type of thinking. We're running into the 15-minute 50 MA on Bitcoin support 36162. Ethereum resistance 247547, support 235863. If y'all could hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. Gold's getting really beat up. Why? Because the dollar strength. God, again, I keep asking myself questions and then answering it. I'm like Sue Aikens from Life Below Zero. Sorry about that. That's an annoying conversational style or presentation style, I should say. So gold, 1780.6 is your support. Resistance, 1800. It's just melting. 4 hour oversold. Daily is not oversold. So don't get too overly anxious to buy gold. We have plenty of runway left. If 1780 holds, you may get a decent dead cat bounce. Okay, oil, what a beast. So oil on the 2 hour has a potential head and shoulders. XLE does as well, but we're negating it now. 88.54 is your next resistance. Would not step in front of this train. Matter of fact, I'm going to go delete that. Would not step in front of this train. Daily inside bar, we have the rig count at 12:30 Central, I believe. Please verify if you're trading oil. Support 86.64. Nat gas. So my kindergarten view of this morning is, oh, a blizzard's coming into the East Coast. I always just dismiss weather and nat gas correlation, but maybe there is something to it after all. But there was actually a contractual rollover, contango, whatever, that happened yesterday. Joey is informed and he posted about it. And lots of Twitter folks have been talking about it. I am not educated or informed or enough to be able to speak to it, but there were some shenanigans yesterday with contract rollover. So again, I'm staying away from nat gas. If you somehow got this long, congratulations, there are your levels. Apple. How's the knee? My knee is so much better. Thank you for asking. It's just, I'm just broken everywhere else. I'm kidding. So Apple, oh, I don't want to EQ all day. So I would look to short 168.38 and possibly go long at 161.86. Either, otherwise we're in no man's land. You could get chopped up. We need Apple to bounce. Now I'm going to drink my water. If everyone hits the like button, a goat gets its wings or something like that. So those are your levels. And before I lose anybody that signs off, I have to go to my favorite chart of yesterday, XBI. So yesterday, this is what we looked at. Not that. So this was yesterday morning. We had the range of Wednesday, the high to the low, and I did a fib on it. I haven't touched this chart besides adding this morning's levels. And then I said, if we do not get over 91.63 decisively, that would be a 4-hour bear flag. And I drew this yellow box. This is where we should look to short XBI, looking for the 4-hour lower high with a 4-hour bear flag. Bing, bang, boom. 91.67 and down. So if you took that, that was about a 21% gain on LABD. So this kind of witchcraft works. Just kidding, it's not witchcraft. But, oh, I just deleted all my notes. Shoot. 82.73 is what I wanted to point out to you. There's a lot of levels over here. 82.36. Where did I see that? Yeah, it was a lot of levels in the $82 range, which is where I will be looking to possibly buy this dip on XBI because we're oversold again now on hourly. 4-hour isn't. I would like 4-hour oversold and get me closer to $82. Charge point, high risk. Got an upgrade this morning by JP Morgan, which is a little more credible than some of those others that we've never heard of, like Jing Jang Boom, like Jang whatever. I'm trying to think of as Boone's Farm. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but just someone who's not credible. JP Morgan's pretty credible, and they put a price target of like $20 or $21 on this. So I think there's a bottom fish opportunity against 1137 or 1121, high risk of getting stopped out. MARA. Okay, John. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Thank you, y'all. Y'all are always so nice. Thank you so much. MARA, high probability of getting stopped out. Please, please, please watch Bitcoin if you're trading MARA. There's a bottom fish here at 1926, and MARA got an upgrade to $51 this morning. Does it mean it's going to $51? Nope. But if Bitcoin can get a bounce, the market could get a bounce. This could be a good long. Netflix, changing my tune. Yesterday I told y'all it was a long, and it was one of our better Queen of the Mountain. Well, today the Aikman news was wonderful. Daily is still really, really beat up, but I think there's some hungry hippo bears that could be looking to short 395. It won't be me. I'm not going to short Netflix. I got other things I'm looking at, but this could be interesting. If the market's bouncing nicely, I would stay away from this. QQQ. Now QQQ, you can see the look that I'm looking for. Excuse the trend lines. On Nasdaq, it has this falling wedge look on the hourly. That would be beautiful if we would hold 33415 and bounce. Tesla got beat up yesterday. Support 814.50. 806.97 is just a level I want to point out to y'all. A prior all-time high. Sometimes that can act as support. So I'm going to go set an alert for Tesla. I may be interested at 807. Am I the only one that says 808 and thinks 808 kick drum makes the girlies get some? Okay, Visa, this is it. They beat. I like this long. If the market's bouncing against 212. Okay, now I'm going to get to the part that I wanted to talk about at the beginning. My husband's in the other room and he's going to kill me for talking about this, but oh well. So our daughter yesterday was over. She was a college athlete and she was just so impressed by Patrick Mahomes and his heart rate data from the thrilling win over the Bills. And so whoop, whoever does his heart rate stuff, I found it was fascinating that he got super excited when the other team had the ball. What was the other team? The Bills, right? When the Bills had the ball, his heart rate would go high and his anxiety would go high. But when he was in the huddle, he made some game-winning throws. He allowed his body and mind to be clear and his heart rate came down. He was in flow state. It helped him be at his best when his game was on the line. That is flow state. And Charting Man Dan, who's my mentor, he finds flow state every day. We have another trader, Devin. Devin is amazing. And he has flow state. And now I'm finding the common thread between the truly outperformers in life and of course success is defined more than money, but I'm saying just outperforming in life as far as calmness, happiness, and it's that flow state and being able to really bring your heart rate down, your brain, and think clearly when you're in a jumbled up state. Professional athletes, they hire sports psychologists for these professional athletes to help them. And how are they ready? They're visualizing the outcome that they want. They have done tons of repetition, so they are well prepared. And then everything slows down and the game is in front of you. My husband was a professional athlete. His brother was a professional athlete, and their brother, older brother, was a psychologist, and he helped them visualize the outcomes that they want and help them with sports psychology. And my husband would be in a stadium with tens of thousands of people, and he said everything would just get quiet. You could hear a pin drop in his head. He would just calm everything down. Why? Because he was prepared. He had the repetition. He had already visualized the outcome, the routes that they were going to take. And he said, okay, here's option A, B, or C. If I see it, I take it. If I don't, I don't. And that's what trading is finding that flow state. And I want all of you to find that flow state. And when everyone else is panicking, you're calm and you're hitting it, and you're hitting it hard. And it really, FOMC Wednesday was my first flow state FOMC. And it was really invigorating. I don't want to say thrilling. It was invigorating that I'm starting to achieve it in different chunks, and I see it. And I, of course, tell my mentors, like, Dan, I got flow state. It was awesome. Of course, I want to achieve it more, and I need to string together larger bouts of flow state. So if you're not into all this woo-woo stuff, I hope you cut it off a couple of minutes ago. But I appreciate you tuning in. It is Friday, and I am going to answer one question, one chart. Beat Twitter. Okay, I see Twitter. Let's look at it. Daily inside bar. And that resistance is 35.14, support 33.81. You know what we all should have done is invest in rapid test. We would all be billionaires right now because I can't find one. Support, but everything's fine. Support 33.30, 33.27, resistance 34.43, 34.71. This daily chart just looks like a bear flag to me. BCO. This doesn't look bad. Is my chart going to freeze up on my last one? It kind of looks bad. We're in a weekly uptrend. Daily inside bar, resistance 70.03, support 68.28. We need to get over 70.90 and the bulls will feel a little bit better, but it's probably going to need a market bounce for that. All right, that's it for me. Thank you for joining me. Use stop losses, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notify button, and most importantly, take care of you and find that flow state.